My name is Shadsel Sullivan, and this is Commentary Showdown. Hey guys, this is Shadsel Sullivan here, starting my brand new commentary series, Commentary Showdown. Basically, how this works is I take two similar videos, play them both whilst throwing in my own critique here and there, then at the end I compare them and judge which one I think is better. The subject of video today is Sonic Colors video game review, and the two reviews about to be compared are the Irate Gamer's review and X-Play's review. Now, we may not have been able to trust any of these reviewers with Sonic Unleashed, but how do they do with Sonic Colors? Well, let's find out. Firstly, we'll start with our good old friend, Chris Bores.
Welcome back, gamers, and today's review is on Sonic Colors. Now, this has to be the most requested game I get from fans for me to review, so let's get this bad boy started.
Of course, it wouldn't be an Irate Gamer review without some sort of special effect.
Sonic the Hedgehog is back for another go-round, and the concept used here is basically taking the daylight levels from the terrible Sonic Unleashed
You only say it's terrible
and
because
making
you
a new
sucked
game.
at it.
Now, over the years, Sega has managed to put out one piece of crap Sonic game after
we go
another.
again with this
Even
whole
Sonic 4 missed the mark a
losing
bit
streak
by
rubbish.
not offering a radically refreshing game like the recent Donkey Kong Country franchise did.
I already pointed out Irate's hypocrisy here in a one-shot commentary. The reason why he even bashed on Sonic Unleashed in the first place was due to having radically different gameplay, and now he says he wants it in games. More proof that he has no clue on what makes a game good.
But at least with Sonic Colors, it's probably the first good Sonic game all around that I've
I guess
played
you haven't
in a while.
played many Sonic games, Mr.
Now, Sonic
Bores.
is all about speed, and more speed.
Ignoring the game's
And this
many
game does a
platforming
really good
elements.
job at delivering just that. Sonic ends up speeding through various 3D levels, and during certain points of the game, the camera angle switches to the 2D view to pay homage to the classic Sonic of yesteryear.
You mean, just
And
like
of
in
course,
Sonic
the further you
Unleashed?
get in the game, the harder and more weird these levels become. I mean, just take a look at all the junk food in this background.
Does it make you
Weird.
hungry, Chris?
Alright, now let's talk about the game's strong points. What the hell? Now this game has over 20 different levels for you to run around in, and the main map in the game is now structured in a Super Mario World type way, which is a welcome addition. Now there are also these wisp type creatures that give you special power-ups. These include giving you supercharged light speed,
Don't you mean
and the power
laser?
to drill your happy ass into the landscape in order to look for buried treasure. Dig Dug, eat your heart out. Another aspect I enjoyed were the cutscenes. These were pretty well done, and watching these made me feel that I was watching a cartoon.
Who you calling nothing?
And if you have kids, they'll most likely be entertained by these sequences.
Quick,
Alright, now
Sonic,
that
get
we've
out of
focused on
here!
the good
Save your
points,
dignity while you
let's
still
talk
have the
about the bad.
chance!
Hey, cut that out! You're gonna ruin my table! The first drawback is that during the 2D portions of the game, I had a really hard time finding Sonic on smaller TVs and TVs that lack high definition.
Seems quite
The
clear
camera
where he is
angle
to
in these
me.
areas are zoomed back so far, it took me a few seconds just to figure out where the hell Sonic went. And sometimes I found him too late. Damn it!
Fail.
The second drawback to this game is that besides Sonic and Tails, no other Sonic character has a bigger role than a cameo.
You do realise you missed out Eggman. It's not as if he was just a minor character in one game either. Eggman was the main villain from the start, so you were wrong there. Eggman's in the game as well.
Now Knuckles was always my favorite Sonic character, but for this game, he again gets the shaft.
What the? How the fuck did that happen?
You're gonna have to pay for that! Alright gamers, so what's the final verdict here? Sonic has had one crazy
Come on,
losing
Chris,
streak
how
in
many
Sonic
times
games,
do we need that
and this one
repeated?
definitely, I think, changes the tide. I personally found this game fun and entertaining. I'm not sure if it'll appeal to non-Sonic fans, but I think it's at least worth a rental.
So, that was Irate Gamer's review. Now, that was indeed a very mediocre review of a great game. But can X-Play now do better? Well, believe it or not, this review was not done by Adam Sessler or Morgan Webb, and thank God, because their reviews are grade A bullshit. So maybe X-Play do have some hope after all. Let's watch.
Because we get tens and tens of emails every year about our negative viewpoint of the Sonic series,
More
we
like
here at
biased
X-Play will strive
viewpoint.
to create a fairly positive review of Sonic Colors for the Wii, starring everyone's favorite Azure rodent.
What?
I mean, Blue Hedgehog. Colors takes our hero on a trip to a nefarious carnival created by Dr. Eggman. It's up to you to save the aliens being held hostage for their powers by using their powers for yourself. Yes, it's a story better left on the floor of Friedberg and Seltzer offices.
Oh, come on! How could you even compare this game to the god-awful pieces of crap made by Seltzerberg? And besides, I thought you always complained about how Sonic games had too complicated storylines, and now they make it more simple, you still moan? Wow, there really is no pleasing you guys.
Better left in /fiction forums. What fans of the series have come to expect.
I know I say that every time, but this time really, nothing will stop me.
Remarkably, this is one of the best looking Sonic titles to grace the Wii, which is like saying it doesn't remind me of a clown in a blender. It doesn't make my eyes bleed as much.
Okay, what's with
The
these
development
buzzer
team
sound
finally
effects they
put some
keep
of those
adding?
creative juices that they've been hoarding on the shelves into designing rather interesting environments like industrial Candylands. And maybe I was roughed up by a TSA agent a little too much, but even the writing seems to have improved.
Despite saying earlier that the storyline was crap, I see he's started flip-flopping now.
Or to make underwear to be worn by salad.
Unfortunately, creative juice doesn't go nearly as far as it once did, since so many of the levels are about as boring as watching The Mentalist.
Are you even going to
C-SPAN 2.
explain why these levels are
Slightly more
boring?
entertaining than Skyline.
No, that's what I thought.
It's these wisp aliens that can give Sonic new powers or completely transform him into something new. Too many stages, however, are based around these slow, clunky, counterproductive powers that work against the main mechanics the series is so noted for: speed and platforming.
You know, I'll bet if this game didn't have the Wisp power-ups, you would find the game to be boring and repetitive. And you say these power-ups work against the game's mechanics of speed? Laser, spikes and drill beg to differ.
Perhaps the one thing that Sonic Colors gets right is being the most 2D, 3D game on the Wii.
New Super Mario Bros. Wii anyone?
So when the game is not boring,
Seriously,
not
stop
slow,
with the buzzer sounds.
actually
It's not
acting
funny
like a
and
Sonic
it's getting
game,
boring
fans
really
of the
fast.
series might just find a glimmer of hope in this beautiful mess. That's
Yep,
why we're
still
giving Sonic Colors a
flip-flopping.
3 out of 5.
Okay, so that's the end of both of those reviews, and whilst both of them were mediocre, which one comes out on top? Well, now we've seen them, we can compare them in 5 different categories. There will be no ties in the categories, and the one who comes out on top in at least 3 of these categories wins the showdown. So let's start first with presentation. Which review showcased the games better? Well, this is a fairly difficult one to judge, as both reviews showcase the same levels and cutscenes from the game. But in terms of better presentation, I'd say X-Play presented it better. Their review just seemed so more professionally laid out, and the footage they used seemed more convincing that they actually played the game for longer. Knowing Irate, he probably only played it for about 20 to 30 minutes before making the review. Plus, X-Play's footage was also more full screen than Irate's footage, so that also gives them a bit of an edge. Sorry Irate, but special effects don't save you this time. So X-Play do better in presentation, but how about when it comes to entertainment? For this category, we're going to judge it based off the jokes used in the review. Irate's main source of entertainment was the animated Sonic sprites on his table, which spin dash and break the table. As for X-Play, well, their main source of entertainment was utilising buzzer sounds and making wise-ass cracks comparing the game to crappy movies like Skyline and Seltzerberg movies. Well, to be honest, I didn't find either review to be particularly entertaining in terms of jokes. Irate's joke suffers from being too predictable, because as usual he ends up explaining it, and it happens 3 times. And X-Play's buzzers just seemed to come out of nowhere, and didn't even make sense. But for this, I'll go for Irate. Whilst I didn't find it particularly funny, I will say he tried to be more creative, and he did use Sonic characters which did fit into a review, whereas the buzzer sounds in X-Play's review were just way overused, and they didn't add anything to a review. It got old and annoying very fast, and was pretty bad humour to be honest. So this is one of the rare exceptions where Irate comes on top in entertainment. But of course, it wouldn't be a video game review without some good points, so which review did the better job at labelling the game's good aspects? Quick point to bear in mind, categories like this are not based off whether or not I agree with them, but more on which review does a better job at labelling the game's good aspect. Now, Irate has always been a bit inept on what makes a game good, but he does bring up some positive aspects about the game, such as the Wisp power-ups and providing a good sense of speed. X-Play, however, seemed a bit uncertain when saying good things about the game. The best they could come up with was that it was the most 2D, 3D game on the Wii, and not looking like total crap. That doesn't exactly seem very redeeming. Well, I think Irate wins this category, simply because he had positive points about the game. And X-Play, your review was not fairly positive as you said, it was mixed at best. But reviews don't have to be 100% positive, it never hurts to bring up negative points in the game, so who does a better job at labelling the game's bad aspects? Well, Irate's main criticisms of the game were not being able to see Sonic very well in the 2D sections, and lacking Sonic characters, most notably Knuckles. Let's face it, X-Play's review was mostly negative, but the negative points they brought up included Wisps working against the game's mechanics, and the levels being boring. Well, I don't really agree with either, but X-Play I think do it better. Irate's gripes weren't so much complaints as they were minor nitpicks. X-Play's negative points did at least have something to do with the gameplay, and the footage they used did showcase their points better and didn't look like they were playing bad on purpose, so that made their points a bit meatier than Irate's. So X-Play win at what they do best, listing the bad. Whether they were good at listing either positive or negative points, how do the main core arguments hold up? Which reviewer is more convincing about the game? Well, Irate's overall view on the game was that it was a pretty good game, whereas X-Play said the game was mixed or average. Now, Irate didn't do too badly at listing the game's good points, but one problem I had with his review is he always seems to say that Sonic games are about speed, speed and more speed, yet he didn't seem to mind the Wisps breaking up the game's speed from time to time, so he does flip-flop in that certain aspect. However, X-Play is most guilty of this. They were very uncertain when listing anything good about the game, and judging by the opening, they almost made it seem forced just to please the Sonic fans. If a reviewer is unconvincing about their review, then they aren't much good, and that's why I think Irate overall wins. His core arguments and overall views on the game seemed a lot more robust, and he found it easy recommending the game, whereas X-Play's review seemed a bit messed when trying to give an opinion and wasn't very convincing, so they didn't do very good. So the winner is Irate Gamer. This may come as a bit of a surprise. After I've ripped on him countless times in my commentaries, it makes a change that for once I'm praising the guy. Well, the truth of that is, his Sonic Colors review wasn't very good, but he's better when compared to X-Play, and that's at least saying something. So, that's the end of my first Commentary Showdown. Thanks for watching, this is Shadsoul7 signing out.